Hello again, and of course that's me immediately following a preceding video. And I'm here to give out the short cookies for those people who got my previous cryptic performances correctly when I did them way back when. I don't do them anymore, and I will not do them anymore. That's over and done with. It's all been explained in a previous video. But I am going to acknowledge the persons who guessed correctly for those that I had done in the past. And this will be the last shot cookies given out this year. These videos I've just done. The previous ones I ran out of time, so now the ones for the scare zones. So I had previously said, given the cookies out to all the people who had guessed the clues I made for the haunted houses. And some people did figure this out when I did those cryptic performances back in April and such. The odd-numbered ones were the houses, and the even-numbered ones were the scare zones. So anyone who sort of figured the pattern out, you get this sort of, you don't get a whole shot cookie. You get a couple of crumbs and a chocolate chip. Okay, good. Now, getting back to the actual scare zones, they were revealed last night in a rather lackluster way. They didn't even have their own logos or pictures yet. Actually, I hear they haven't designed those, and they weren't going to, and they're going to design them now at the last minute. The young lady told me that the other day when I met her in the park. I did meet a designer in the park the other day, nice young lady. She didn't tell me any inside information or detailed information. Of course, it had already been pretty much leaked anyway, but she didn't tell me anything like that. But she did tell me that she was busy because she had to go back and design all the logos for the scare zones, because they had told her, oh, we're not going to do those this year. And then at the last minute said, yes, we are. So she's busy, and hopefully they'll be on the brochures, because they had on the website when it got updated, they just have little descriptions of what those scare zones are without any pictures or neat little things. So maybe they'll add those in and have some nice graphics so we could have something to look at. Anyway, there are 5 scare zones that were revealed last night, and there are 5 songs I sang for them before, and now to give out those cookies before I run out of time again. So, Psychoskerepy Unleashed is what they're calling the scare zone. I guess the one that's going up in New York, based on all the pretty images, all the decorations. On the website it says it's a block party, a Halloween block party, but the madcap lunatics of Shady Brook, so they're in a house and a zone, but they're named in this zone. They break out. I saw when I was walking through New York just the other day before yesterday, I saw one of those little short buses crashed into Nazerman's. So I'm guessing that's how they break out, and they take over this entire block party for Halloween, and in their own nasty ways. There's a burnt down gazebo there already, so they've obviously setting something on fire. I was talking about blood and gore and everything, but also a costume contest. Every hour they stop massacring people so they can put on a costume contest for themselves. And there's a stage they've already set up over there in New York for that as well. So that should be fun. And they're calling that Psychoskerepy Unleashed. Now, the first buzz about this, the first rumors been circulating, it sounded more like a, before they said block party, they had said autumn festival and even autumn carnival, and the idea of it being more of a circus or carnival that has taken over. So the assumption was that the inmates were taking over a carnival. and running amok with that. So the song choice was based on the original rumor, and it's a little bit off, but it was "Come Look at the Freaks" from the Broadway musical Sideshow, and that's the one that actually refers to the Scherzo. And once again, Owen Disney is the one who got that, so he gets the sharp cookie. And the second Scherzo, which was revealed, was the one that appeared on Hollywood Boulevard, I believe, based on the nice nifty banners they have out now. It's called Icons HHN. It's a rather not the most poetic title for a Scherzo. I mean, I've heard of descriptive titles. I guess they didn't want to confuse anybody about what it's meant to be. So it's a Scherzo for HHN Icons. They just called it Icons :HHN. But that's what it is. It's what's on the tin. It's a Scherzo for the former icons to show up and stand around looking pretty and on nice sets like Seven or Face Off, apparently, while others are running around in the streets. And according to the description, you're also going to have some other iconic characters besides the big icons. So there'll be some interesting people from years past running around up and down the boulevard, which sounds fun. The song choice for that was the song "Old Friends." I think that's from a Sondheim musical. I'm trying to remember which one it is. Merrily Roll Along? I forget. It's one of those. But it's early in the morning, and I'm not all conscious yet. But Old Friends, I thought that was rather appropriate for the return of the icons. The fellow who first got that is someone who posts at Horror Night Nightmares, who calls themselves The End Is Near, and that's spelled capital T, lowercase n, capital T, lowercase h, capital N, lowercase d, capital I, lowercase z, capital N, lowercase I, and a capital R. The end is near. Right. So that person, whoever that is, was the first one to figure out that Old Friends was for an icon Scherzo. And the third Scherzo revealed was called Scary Tales Scream Punk, and it's in the Plaza of the Stars, I believe. It would be a Scary Tales Scherzo, like they've had the Scary Tales houses in years past, and Path of the Wicked, and all of those things, except all done up steampunk style. So I chose Neverland from the musical Peter Pan. I chose that not because I know or think that Peter Pan will be in the Scherzo. I hope so, but I have no idea. But trying to find a fairy tale song that I thought would be best, I thought that evoked a sort of weird time and place. And since Peter Pan was originally written in the very early 20th century, I think it was 1911 or something, it's almost perfectly positioned into the whole steampunk thing as far as being of that era. And so I thought that would be a good choice to be for that as well. But again, it'd be awesome if they did incorporate that particular character into the zone, but I don't know. I have no idea which fairy tales they'll be using, of course. So it'd be fun if I saw an evil little fairy on the web on revealed in one of the images they revealed yesterday on Twitter. I don't know if it's for this one. It might be for the zone in Central Park. But if that was an evil Tinkerbell, that would be really wonderful. But I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just going to clap my hands and hope so. But as far as the song that was Neverland was the song for this one, the people who got that were Emperor Sephiroth and Styrofoam Cup again. So they get some more sharp cookies together, and sort of they got this idea. Not simultaneously, or each one got bits of it. All right. The next scare zone, the fourth scare zone, is called Evil's Roots. That's located in Central Park, I'm guessing, based on what they said. Actually, I think Aiello said it was going to be in Central Park. He talked about grown evil. Or was that the lady, Dina Ricci, who described it in her blog? That was part of the reveal last night. It was the Universal blog. Dina Ricci described all the scare zones for us, as well as what's posted on the website and Aiello's clips on Twitter. So we have all of that information came out last night. Evil's Roots is what was originally buzzed about weeks ago as a traditional Halloween scare zone, and what that meant, no one really knew. So the guess was traditionals, little trick-or-treaters, or perhaps Samhain from like the Hallow, or ghosts and goblins, and it's something, maybe all of those and whatever, but I think they've got a lot of new characters and concepts in here, actually, from what I've been reading last night on these different places where they describe what they're doing. So that sounds exciting if there's new stuff, but they have the old pumpkins, including a Darth Vader pumpkin. I saw that the other day. And the little cat pumpkin I've always liked with the whiskers. But Evil's Roots then will be the scare zone there, and I decided that if it's traditional Halloween, whatever that means, whether it's the Traditionals, Legion, or something else, what could be a better song than Tradition from Fiddler on the Roof? And so I used that one, and the person who got that was, again, Styrofoam Cup over at Horror Night Nightmares. And so the last one, the last scare zone revealed, and this is the last shot cookie ever, All Night Die-In is the house. Actually, I think the name of the house is All Night Die-In Double Feature. Well, that was a good choice of a song, because the song was Science Fiction Double Feature from Rocky Horror Show. The Rocky Horror, the Broadway musical, actually started in a little bit somewhere off the West End, within the general vicinity of Carnaby Street, I think, when it first opened in London way back when. It was within walking distance from a little shop called Sex, which was owned by Malcolm McLaren and what's her name? Westwood, Vivian Westwood. And they were getting ready to invent punk rock music. And I think the dressed up people walking past might have helped inspire the whole look of punk. Who knew? But that's just one of those things that I go off on a tangent sometimes, because it's. But I chose Science Fiction Double Feature, and All Night Die-In is, according to what's been described last night, a die-in set up a drive-in scare zone, like the Horrorwood drive-in scare zone back in '09, except that this features two different casts in the San Francisco streets where it's going to be. One will be all black and white classic monsters, black and white movies from days gone by, and the other cast will be color movies, modern day slashers. So you can see one cast has got Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, Norman Bates, that sort of thing. The other cast is in color with Freddy, Jason, Chucky. If they get the Ghostface Killer in there, that would be highly ironic, but I'm not sure. They might have a Purger thrown in instead, but that would be funny, wouldn't it, if they were able to get away with that? Because it's a separate license from the movie, and the mask is owned by, and if they actually paid for a contract to use the mask, it's a separate company than the people who own the rights for the TV show and the movie. So the mask itself is Funtime, and the other is Weinstein. So if they still have that with Funtime, they could use the mask. They could, and get away with it, so long as it's not called Scream. So they might just have that in the scare zone. That would be hysterical, but I don't know if they dare. Anyway, science fiction double feature, because there is that whole two different casts, a sort of double feature going on in this die-in theatre in Cary, Ohio, which was clearly revealed last night. And one of the bits of artwork that shows Cary with one of those little design things that you see on a drive-in theatre. I'm sure that's where that is, which sounds fun. And the double feature, so you can, even if Beetlejuice is being torn down, there's not going to do any Rocky Horror, and it's right in that area too. You can still fuck the back row, or the back seat in this case, which does happen in drive-in theatres anyway, right? Yup. Anyways, no one got that 100%. Strangely enough, but Owen Disney was the closest. So overall, when you go through all of these shop cookies, all of them, I think total would be 18 cookies given out this year for all the houses and scare zones, if you count the first 4 plus these. The guy who got most of them was Owen. Also, I have to mention whoever Styrofoam Cup is, he got quite a few as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think they tie. They both have about 5 cookies each. So I don't know who Styrofoam Cup is at Horror Night Nightmares, but you're pretty good, and Owen Disney figured out the same amount roughly. So those two are the ones who were the big sharp cookies. Heather Quackenbush only got 1 this year, and she had to share it with Neil. So there you go. That's my very last time making these cookies. Alright, because as I pointed out before, and I'm reiterating, I'm double downing on this, next year, no cryptic videos at all. If you want to guess what's coming, you're on your own.